welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. I am in one of the most beautiful gardens I have ever been in London, England. Yes, other than some road noise you can hear once in a while, you wouldn't know you were in London. Oh my goodness. And maybe we will have some leaves fall. They're falling all around. It's just beautiful. So, what's beyond judgment? As many of you know, I have been traveling here in England for a month. So time of recording, we are flying out tomorrow, which means we've been here about 30 days. And it has truly been all the things. Now, what the heck does all the things mean? Really, it's been beyond judgment. So I have been doing a deep dive with a group of people since June, I guess, on the book, The 10 Keys to Total Freedom by Gary and Dane from Access Consciousness. And it has changed every one of those tools. So each month we go through a chapter, and each chapter is based on the key of that book. And each one of those keys has basically a tool within it. And so I have truly been living the keys, not 100% of the time, of course. And I've truly been living the keys to total freedom. And I thought it had changed a lot in so many ways. And I have to tell you, it changed way more than actually what I thought. Because even before we started traveling, I started to really get how much I was doing judgment. So today it's sunny, so that's good. And then earlier this morning it was rainy, and that's bad. Now that's a really basic, rain is good and sun is good and rain is bad. That's a pretty basic judgment. But most people don't even recognize that it's judgment. And I certainly, to a degree, had not. Now, over the years, I've become more and more aware of the judgment that I chose. And now it's like, oof. So really on this trip has been so much of just being present with what is. Not making it right, not making it wrong, not making it good, not making it bad. It just is. So at one point, we took a coach, a bus in North America, you would call it, a coach here in the United Kingdom. And there was a train strike, so we took a coach, and that was the adventure and a half, because we ended up with a couple-hour delay in a Leeds coach station, and it was a Saturday late night. It was so interesting. And so being in that space was really a space for me to choose to not look at it as good or bad or right or wrong. Now, even probably 6 months ago, I would have questioned, am I not being magical? What's going on? What's happening? Did I lose my magic? How did this occur? How did it occur that the day we were going to travel, actually the two of the days we were going to travel, that they chose train strikes? What's wrong with me? And go into that spin, but not even really recognizing that I was going into that spin. And that's been a big piece, is all of it is so much louder for me now, so that I'm so much more aware when I am in the judgment. That's the best way to describe it. It's judgment. And so being in that coach station, and the woman's bathroom floor was covered in all the stuff from bathrooms, because one of the toilets, and being with it, again, not right or wrong or good or bad, just being with it. I hope this is making sense, because it's so difficult to put into words. And then what I have also recognized is how much I would choose based on judgment. So it's raining today. I don't like rain, so I won't go out in the rain. Notice there's no question in that. There's no question in that whatsoever. In fact, just yesterday, Hubby and I were discussing what we would like to go do, and he was talking about going to the V&A, Victoria and Albert Museum, and I'm not a museum goer, never really have been. And what I looked at when he was talking about it was how much judgment I went to in terms of, well, I don't go to the museum, I don't like museums, museums are boring. Once again, there's no question in that. So what I did then was I went to question, hey body, if we say yes to the museum, will it create the future we desire or decay? And I got it would create. So I'm like, all right, let's go to the museum. I think even hubby was shocked, and off to the museum we went. I didn't fall in love with museums, and I was willing to receive from it in ways I'd never been willing to receive before. And so a lot of people, of course, on my journeys and coming to classes and all that, are asking, how was your trip? And if the person gets the weird that I be, I will say to them, it's been all the things. It's been fucking magical. It's been fucking frustrating. It's been marvelous. It's been annoying. It's been like all the things. For the majority of my trip, I've had some sort of like cold nasal throat thing going on. I haven't been sick in years, and yet we come here and this, what if I be with what is? Well, I don't make it right or wrong, good or bad, then I have way more choices available to me. If I make it bad and horrible, then I'm probably going to feel worse. I'm probably going to not choose things that I would like to choose. Instead, it's like, okay, so this is here. What would I like to choose? And it's like, okay, one of my choices, if you listen to my radio show from a few weeks ago, is one of my choices has been ease. So how do I have ease with this going on? And at one point it was like it went away. I was like, oh, yes. And it was so good that it went away. And then the next day it came back. Like, man, all right. Oh, how much ease can I have with this? How much ease can I be with this? What I invite you to look at is the spaces and places where judgment has been what we would call in Access like the autoresponder, the thing you go to. It's raining, it's bad. You're sick, it's bad. It's sunny, it's good. Like that autoresponder of boop, boop, boop. Because what if we didn't go to the autoresponder, if we didn't choose the judgment, what could we actually receive? And this is what I found with the coach situation, is that with that, and then we'd rented a car for a couple days, and then the trains were striking again. So I was looking at how do we get from Newcastle in England to Liverpool for my class, and just went, okay, we could do a coach. That doesn't feel really yummy. So what else is possible? And then just got, okay, well, actually, let's rent the car for the next 3 weeks, which is what we chose. And so if I looked at the coach experience as the worst thing ever, I'm not sure I could have got to what else is possible by not having a point of view about it, and also recognizing I have a preference. I have a preference not to choose that. Not right or wrong or good or bad. I can, absolutely. If I needed to get on a coach today, I absolutely could do it. And what else is possible? Which is not something that we often allow ourselves in when we're in judgment. It's usually it's this or this. When we're choosing judgment, there's this or there's this. There's the right and there's the wrong. And we're desperately seeking the right. Whereas if we don't have a point of view, we have so much more space. There's so many more possibilities. And that is the greatest invitation, at least for me, is to truly have no point of view. And then what I found was that, now what? It's like I have to relearn or learn how to choose based on choice, not on what's right and what's wrong. And that's been really a whole different world for me. Again, I didn't even realize how much judgment I was doing. Now to actually choose based on choice, that horrible C word that most of us don't like to hear. And that's what it comes to when we're not looking to do what's right or what's wrong. And we don't have a reference point to what's right and what's wrong. oh my gosh, now there's choice, and not just choice, but actually infinite choice. And I'll be honest, there's times where infinite choice, I was gonna say it seems like too much, but that's not quite the word. It seems like it mushes all together. Even yesterday when we were looking at all the different things we could do in London on one of our, last days here, there was one web page I looked at that had 42 unique things. So there was 42 things there, and there was 4 billion other things, and all of them were like mushed together, because if I don't know, if I'm not choosing from what's right or wrong, how do I choose? Except you just choose. You get to ask the question, which eventually got me to the question with the museum. And it's just that simple. If I choose this, whatever this is, will it create the future I desire or decay the future? And if you always follow what will create the future, you're always going to create the future you desire beyond what you desire. So this is another piece that I think is really, that I've really been playing with, even before this trip, is looking at beyond what I desire. So a lot of times what we desire is based on, again, the judgment on what's right and what's wrong, what we see as other people having or experiencing, and we go, okay, we'd like that because it looks fun. And what about beyond what we desire? Like, what about it? What about going beyond what we desire? And that is, I've got some coaching out right now, and it's called Beyond What You Desire Coaching. Because yes, let's have some clarity of what we would like. Let's clear our points of views around that. And let's do it all from this space of what else is possible, which means beyond what you desire. So it's a totally different space, and we'll have a link above or below to that coaching if you're interested. Got, I think, 1 or 2 spots left in the beta coaching. So it's like 50% off right now as we're kind of working through some kinks with it. So we'll have that link above or below for you. And truly, what is possible? If there wasn't a right or wrong in your world, or a good or a bad in your world, what would you actually choose? Yeah. Let's say you don't enjoy the work that you do. Let's say you go to a job every Monday to Friday and you don't enjoy it. If you didn't make it good to have a job, if you didn't make it bad to not have a job, if you didn't make it right to have a job, if you didn't make it wrong not to have a job, what could you choose? And I don't say that meaning you should go quit your job. That's not what I'm saying at all. But once we get out of that, then we can really be in that space of, okay, well, what is possible with this that I've never even considered? Like, truly, what else is possible with this that I've never even considered? It could be a different job. It could be a different job within the same company. It could be that you quit the job, you do something totally, I mean, there's a bazillion things. But get out of the right and the wrong and the good and the bad. Now, how do you do that? I mean, there's a million ways you could do that. And of course, I use the tools from Access Consciousness. So my favorite is, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. So when you catch yourself in that, oh my gosh, it's raining out, how horrible. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. The other thing that has really contributed to me with that is that once I recognize I'm judging, what I like to do is acknowledge that I'm not receiving. Because that's why we judge. We judge to not receive. So if it's raining out, then I judge it to not receive from the rain. And yet I talk all the time about being an infinite being with infinite receiving, which means from the rain too. So there's just so many pieces with it all. And I did a show probably very similar to this one earlier on in October, or maybe mid-October, about what I've received from my trip so far. And it really is around like choosing ease and all of that. But there's so much of this where we want to recognize that judgment is what kills our receiving. That judgment is what kills possibilities. That judgment is what kills our bodies. That judgment is what kills the planet. So if we're willing to get out of the judgment, and I'm actually even going to go a bit farther with it. I'm going to say, if we're willing to acknowledge it's not our judgment in the first place, We're infinitely aware of judgment. That's what it is, my sweet friends. We are infinitely aware of judgment, and then we play with it as though it's ours. Do I actually have a point of view about rain? Of course I don't. And from the very first chapter in the 10 Keys to Total Freedom, would an infinite being truly choose this? Would an infinite being truly choose to judge rain? Of course not. Now, the second part of that question is, so what's the purpose? What am I judging rain for? Well, then I could have all sorts of things to fit in, to be like other people, I mean, there's a bazillion things, right? But those two questions in that, would an infinite being truly choose this? Nope. Okay, so what's the purpose? Get that, clear that, whatever that is. The next chapter is about interesting point of view. So then we use interesting point of view, I have this point of view, and then the chapters continue. Guys, we'll put the links to all of the months that we have completed so far that you can purchase. I highly recommend this. Like, this book club is beyond anything I have ever created before, and I've done a lot of stuff. I've been in business for 20 years, so I've got a lot of stuff out there, a lot of phenomenal, life-changing stuff. This book club, at least for me and the majority of people that are on it, has changed everything. It is truly a game changer. So we'll have the links below. If you want to join us, just send me a message and we can chat about what that might look like. Would love to have you. If you were willing to be aware of the judgment that you're playing with, what magic could you create? Whew. Anything that doesn't allow that, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, povads, MV odds. Recognize I said the judgment you're playing with, not your judgment, my sweet friends, not your judgment. Yeah, awesome. All right, well, if you're in my area back in Alberta, Canada, we've got some bars classes coming up. We've got a foundation class coming up. Come and play, come and receive the tools to change your life as if by magic. I would so love to have you. Have a great week, sweet friends, and I look forward to chatting again next week.